What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boy oh boy, do I have a freaking massive video for you guys when it comes to Battlefield 6. We just got a little bit more information on what is going to be prioritized when it comes to the upcoming update, but not only just that, but they are bringing back a little something to make sure that when this update goes live, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to be extremely smooth. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, before we go and dive on deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to subscribe to that bell. I post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, gotta link that channel in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, let's just go ahead and dive right on into the biggest news here. We are going to be seeing the return of labs when it comes to Battlefield 6. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what the lab is within this overall game, basically it's a section where you have to be invited, or maybe if you're a content creator or something like that, you have access. I personally don't, but a lot of people got invited, via email. And if you get access, you can go behind the scenes and test out things, in particular with the developers to give specific feedback. It happened a ton before Battlefield 6's launch, and to me personally, it's one of the biggest reasons why this is probably one of the best launches we have seen in a very long time. Working with the community and a more live style of environment is crucial to make sure that updates go out in a smoother fashion, and also to make sure that the things that they're putting into the game, even if it's just equipment, weapons, things that they're testing for balancing, is again tested throughout the whole community and not just a small little portion size behind the scenes. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed returning, and they have a lot of stuff planned for us. But before we actually dive deep into what is being specifically tested right here, right now for the upcoming update in December, I do want to touch upon a couple of more things when it comes down to the labs before we get into the deep details. First and foremost, there's going to be two different types of lab sessions that are going to be going on here. The first one says planned play sessions. These are either experimental or future-focused and reoccurring sessions around specific features or content that they want to validate ahead of release, giving players the chance to experience upcoming updates early and help shape their final form. And the next form is quick, short notice sessions. These sessions are put together on short notice and allow them to gather rapid insights on focused gameplay changes that benefit from immediate community feedback. Battlefield Studios is also investigating new and smoother ways to make future lab sessions accessible for more players. They'll share more information as details evolve. And there's also another little section here about the future of labs. In the months ahead, they'll use Battlefield Labs to look at a broader range of early concepts and experimental scenarios that benefit from real player insight. Beyond that, they're preparing future lab sessions that explore changes to the map layouts, pacing, and alternative team compositions, such as smaller player counts or vehicle-focused setups. As they continue to grow Battlefield Labs, it will continue to be a reliable space for testing early ideas, gathering focused feedback, and involving a wider range of players in shaping what comes next for Battlefield across areas such as new maps and experiences, new modes and experimental rule sets, prototype mechanics and systems, environmental changes, future seasonal beats before they fully solidify, and stability and performance. I freaking love this. And you know what is really making me happy right now? Is that the players are going to be able to test out the maps. I think that's so freaking crucial because, yeah, the devs can go behind the scenes and, do all the revamps that we've been asking for, like wider boundaries and stuff like that to make the maps feel just better when it comes to infantry combat and also vehicle combat. They could do it on their own and just, put it out there in an update and just keep their fingers crossed that everything turns out good. But this is the best way of handling it. Go into the labs, bring forward your concepts to, a massive portion size of players, and let them give you feedback on if these map changes are good or if they're bad. I'd much rather see them do this than have them, again, just play the guessing game and guess how far they need to go and just see what happens. And then, it's either going to be great when they release it or it's going to be a disaster when they release it. This is why I love labs so much, and this is why I believe that almost every game out there should have some type of system like this in place, because nothing is better than getting the community into the circle, having them test things out, and, then implement it into the game, because you're less likely to do some design decisions that people might not enjoy, and, you think it's great, but then when you launch it, it's like, oh, everybody hates it. Usually that doesn't happen when you allow players to play it ahead of time. They'll just look stupid if you launch it and they say, oh, well, this is bad now. Like, what are you talking about? You just played it and you said it was amazing. So it's a lot safer for the developers to handle things this way in the long run. But ladies and gentlemen, enough with the future of labs. Let's talk about the play session that's actually happening today. For the times, for everybody that's curious, if you actually got into the lab session, for APAC, you're going to be able to hop in from 8 to 10 p.m. JST EU players, you're going to be able to hop in from 7 to 9 p.m. CET, and NA players, you're going to be able to hop in from 4 to 6 p.m. PST. And also, everything that's going to be worked on here will be tested on Eastwood and Operation Firestorm and an all-out warfare playlist, which is obviously Conquest and Escalation. Now, first and foremost, it says audio footstep updates that improve distance perception, surface definition, and enemy audibility. Huge change right here, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we'll be able to get some changes to how the vehicles sound, maybe. I don't know if that's going to be incorporated in here. But other than that, they have nailed everything that has been kind of annoying me when it comes to audio. Now, surface definition doesn't really affect me too much, I'll be real. I can kind of tell where players are at depending on, what they're stomping on. But, further improvements is great. But what really is standing out here, which I'm extraordinarily excited for, is first and foremost, again, the improved distance perception. Because obviously, especially in buildings, Lord have mercy, trying to figure out where everybody is at specifically can be kind of tedious. And last but not least, guys, the enemy footsteps. I can't tell you how excited I am to see how this is going to turn out in the official build. And as I stated, I'm so happy that they're bringing back labs because real players are going to be actually testing this out. And not just, again, like a smaller portion of people behind the scenes to make sure everything is clean. It's going to be a bigger spread of players giving it a go, which is great because hopefully they can fine-tune this. And by the time the brand new update comes on out, the enemy footsteps will be perfect. At least near perfect, because, when it comes to friendlies, I can't even tell the difference. It's getting ridiculous. Next up here, networking and hit registration refinements aimed at more consistent interactions and better responsiveness during close quarters and high-intensity combat. Another massive one that everybody's been complaining about. Honestly, when it comes to long-range engagements, I don't really notice too many problems, but I think they're correct here. When it's up close and personal, and, I'm fighting in buildings, and people are turning corners very quickly, it feels like you die around the corner a lot in this game sometimes. Not all the time. If you get a good server, typically things go nice and smooth, at least for me. But I see so many clips out there of players running into horrifying issues and just bullets just not registering whatsoever and getting shot around corners. And you guys know the whole deal here. So obviously the hit reg and netcode needed some work, and I'm glad to see that it's coming very shortly. And last but not least, broader adjustments across key combat systems that influence all experiences evaluated through focused lab testing. I don't know what that means, really. To me personally, what really matters is the first two, audio and network connection and all that stuff. Of course, there's going to be more updates coming on in. This isn't just it, but this is what they're testing right here, right now in the lab session. And I'm really glad about this because these things should be tested in the lab session. Shouldn't just be a little, small focus group behind the scenes, seeing if the netcode is good or if the audio is good. You should be trying to run through as many players as possible, as many systems as possible to see, and also as many connections as possible to see what's going on, who's having issues where they can fine-tune things or maybe dive a bit deeper to understand what's happening. You can't do that if you're just doing it behind the scenes. You could do it partially, but not for, again, a broader audience, which, as I stated before, is the main reason why I love the lab sessions here, because you work with real individuals, real people who are going to give you real critical feedback. And that is so important to making sure that when they update the game, it's not a pointless update, right? We got to make sure every update is meaningful here. And so far, they've been nailing it. I was a little, worried. I was going to say sad, but I would say more so worried that Labs was never going to return because they took it away for a while after launch. But it's just great to see that it's coming back. And it's great to see that they're really trying to go hard on some of the most crucial points right here in the overall Battlefield 6 experience. But ladies and gentlemen, so far, that's pretty much all I have for you guys when it comes to what to expect within the next upcoming update for Battlefield 6. Of course, as more information continuously comes on out, I'll be discussing every last bit of it on this channel. You guys know I try to keep up to date with pretty much all the games out there that I discuss. Skate, Battlefield, Splitgate 2. I was thinking of BO7, but I just haven't been able to pull the trigger, so I don't know. I still talk about BO7 from time to time, but it's not like, how I discussed other games, covering all the updates, information, content drops, so on and so forth. I've been talking a lot about Arc Raiders, so guys, subscribe and hit that bell because it'll keep you updated on pretty much everything that goes live on this channel, and I'll keep you up to date on all the news or, the current drama, what people are salty about, all the good stuff. And also, guys, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, where I also go ahead and play all of this variety as well. We try to dive into as many titles as possible. I usually just stick to Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders right now. Of course, when Splitgate 2 relaunches, I'm going to play that a ton. I used to play a little bit of Gears of War Reloaded pretty consistently, but I've kind of calmed down a bit because, obviously, It's Gears of War Reloaded, just Gears 1 Remastered again. I'm more excited for E-Day, and I'll probably stream it a lot more when that game finally drops. But if you guys like that variety and you want to chat it up with me live and in action, then by all means, you can find a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Peace out.